Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm bringing you 10 insane war games that you might not know, starting with Commandos Origins, a real-time strategy game with a focus on stealth, which serves as a prelude to the acclaimed Commandos series. It explores the beginning of the formation of the legendary World War II elite team, showing how the 6 iconic characters met and became the group that fans know. The gameplay focuses on careful planning and coordination of complex actions. You'll need to explore the maps to find the best opportunities. Sneak, climb, pilot vehicles, or hide to succeed. Command. A useful feature is Command Mode, which allows you to plan specific movements for multiple squad members and execute them simultaneously. The game is challenging and requires patience. The difficulty is high, with faster enemy reactions and lower commando resilience at higher levels.
You just say they shouldn't even know we're here.
We're just gonna make sure they don't have time to react to us. Pinning their herd, simple as that. Fast and precise. That's how we strike.
You're nuts if you think the three of us are enough to pull this off.
If we want to win the war, we don't have a choice. Not the first time we've done the impossible.
Trenches, World War I horror survival game, is a first-person survival horror game that plunges the player into the claustrophobic horrors of World War I. You take on the role of a soldier who finds himself trapped behind enemy lines in a surreal nightmare. The goal is to fight for your life and sanity to escape this hellish environment and return home to your family. The story is not linear, being built as the player explores the trenches and collects clues, letters, and objects that provide insights into what is happening and the protagonist's past. The game mixes the brutality of war with supernatural and psychological elements. Trenches stands out for its difficulty. A notable feature is the save system. There is only one save slot. If you die, you die, and the game forces you to start again, increasing the tension and importance of each decision. One of the enemy's most disturbing tactics is the ability to mimic voices of loved ones or other familiar sounds to lure and deceive the player, increasing confusion and fear. Warfare Legacy Collection is a collection of strategy games that remasters the classic games Flash Warfare 1917 and Warfare 1944, developed by Con Artist Games and published by Armor Games Studios. In addition to the enhanced original games, the collection includes a new campaign, Battle of the Bulge. Set in World War I, you command British or German forces in a campaign of attrition in the trenches of France. The goal is to deploy troops, control trenches, use the first war tanks, break enemy morale with fire support, and conquer territory. You can spend command points to improve your troops and fire support, and also set up custom battles with various units, trenches, barbed wire, and landmines. Set in World War II, you choose between the US forces or the Wehrmacht, fighting to liberate or defend France from the Allied advance. The game follows the tug-of-war style in 3 battle lanes, where you seek to complete objectives or win by enemy morale. Ad Infinitum is a first-person psychological horror game set during and after World War I. Developed by Hecate and published by Nacon, the game was released in September 2023 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. The narrative focuses on the journey of a German soldier who struggles against the horrors of war and the monsters that haunt his mind. The player takes on the role of a soldier who finds himself trapped between the reality of his family home and the nightmare of the trenches of World War I. The line between dream and reality is thin, and the player needs to unravel the secrets of his family past while facing grotesque and deadly creatures that emerge from his disturbed mind. The gameplay involves exploration, puzzle solving, and combat against these creatures, with an emphasis on the tense atmosphere and the construction of psychological suspense. The game explores themes such as post-traumatic stress disorder and family dramas, using the setting of World War I as a backdrop to intensify the psychological horror. The creatures are bizarre and disturbing, and the oppressive atmosphere contributes to the horror experience, exploring the fear of the unknown and of one's own mind.
Manchmal weiß ich nicht, ob ich träume oder wache, ob ich hier in den Gräben bin oder zurück im Haus in Berlin.
Beyond the Wire is a large-scale multiplayer first-person shooter set on the brutal and frenetic Western Front of World War I. Developed by Redstone Interactive and published by Offworld Industries, the game seeks to immerse players in the desperate circumstances of the Great Conflict. The game stands out for its large-scale battles with up to 100 real players, 50 against 50 divided into teams. Each team is organized into squads of 9 people and a commander, emphasizing communication and tactical collaboration. The game reproduces the muddy, bloody, and claustrophobic trenches with tight corners and limited visibility, reflecting the nature of trench warfare. The game seeks a realism similar to that of Arma, with a deliberate weight on weapon gameplay, shocking weapon recoil, and tense reload animations that increase panic during combat. Trenches, World War I horror survival game, is a first-person survival horror game that plunges the player into the claustrophobic horrors of World War I. You take on the role of a soldier who finds himself trapped behind enemy lines in a surreal nightmare. The goal is to fight for your life and sanity to escape this hellish environment and return home to your family. The story is not linear, being built as the player explores the trenches and collects clues, letters, and objects that provide insights into what is happening and the protagonist's past. The game mixes the brutality of war with supernatural and psychological elements. Trenches stands out for its difficulty. A notable feature is the save system. There is only one save slot. If you die, you die, and the game forces you to start again, increasing the tension and importance of each decision. One of the enemy's most disturbing tactics is the ability to mimic voices of loved ones or other familiar sounds to lure and deceive the player, increasing confusion and fear. All Quiet in the Trenches is a turn-based narrative strategy game with RPG elements set on the brutal and desolate Western Front of World War I in 1915. Developed and published by Totally Not Aliens, the game left early access and was officially released on January 17, 2024. The title is clearly a tribute to Erich Maria Remarque's famous anti-war novel, All Quiet on the Western Front, and seeks to capture the essence of the human experience in the conflict, rather than focusing on great victories or military strategies. In the game, you take on the role of a German Unteroffizier, a sergeant, responsible for a small group of soldiers, up to 6. Your main responsibility is not to win the war, but to ensure the survival and physical and mental well-being of your men. The game unfolds through a series of phases, alternating between life in the camp, life in the trenches, and combat, each with its own challenges and decisions to be made. Company of Heroes 3 is the latest entry in the acclaimed real-time strategy game series from Relic Entertainment, set in the Mediterranean theater of war during World War II. The game offers an enhanced experience compared to its predecessors, combining thrilling combat with deeper strategic decisions. The game features 2 distinct single-player campaigns, a story campaign in North Africa and a dynamic campaign in Italy. The Italian campaign introduces a new strategic map mechanic, allowing players to define their own course of conquest, despite troop limitations. The game also includes a multiplayer mode, allowing players to face each other online. Company of Heroes 3 uses Relic's Essence engine, providing high-quality graphics and destructible environments that influence gameplay. The impact of each attack, whether a naval bombardment or a mortar, is visually impressive. Foxhole is a massively multiplayer online game where hundreds of players come together to shape the outcome of a persistent, large-scale war. Developed and published by Siege Camp, the game combines elements of real-time strategy and sandbox gameplay with a strong emphasis on collaboration and logistics. Foxhole is set in a world inspired by World War II, where two factions, the Colonials and the Wardens, are in constant war. The ultimate goal is to capture a specific number of victory points, town halls marked on the map, on a world map of multiple regions. The peculiarity of Foxhole is that every action in the game, from manufacturing a bullet to building a base, is carried out by players. There are no NPCs to fill the gaps, which makes each individual contribution crucial to the war effort. One of the most striking features of Foxhole is its persistent war. A single war can last for weeks in real life, with the game world constantly evolving. Cities are captured and lost. Defenses are built and destroyed, and resources are depleted and replenished, all in real time and continuously. Every action you take can have a lasting effect on the game world.
Stars seem far away. I can't be blinded by the dark. Yes, I won't be blinded by the
U-Boat is a simulation game that puts the player in command of a German submarine, U-Boot, during World War II. It stands out for its realistic and complex approach, focusing on crew management and survival in a hostile environment. The game is not limited only to combat action, but also covers the daily routine, the technical challenges, and the psychological impact of the war on the crew members. The gameplay revolves around resource management, submarine maintenance, and, of course, combat missions. The player needs to monitor oxygen, electricity, food, and water supplies, in addition to dealing with any damage to the hull or U-boat systems. The crew's mental health is also a crucial factor, influencing the team's performance and morale. Crew management is a central element. Each member has their own skills and personalities, and the player needs to assign tasks and take care of each one's well-being. Problems such as illnesses, injuries, and even low morale can significantly impact the submarine's effectiveness. Well, that was the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and see you next time.